Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Hello to S. Andrews, Joanne, Susan. I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh, I'm so glad everybody here is so sweet and messaging Susan. That is sweet. Hey, Brandon and Gretchen, Amy Young, Denise, Susan, Natalie. Everybody's here. Everybody is here tonight. It is Monday, isn't it? Oh my goodness, Monday. Hello, Marcia. Okay, so while you guys are chatting, I want to say hello. We're going to create like the faux watercolor with Tombow tonight because we've had some requests for that. Plus, it's fun. It's like it's like one of those things that you don't do for a while and you forget that you have like those markers or those inks or whatever it is. And so you pull it out and then you're like, why have I not been doing this for so long? So it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to do that. I am going to go down to my desk view here. I was worried I was going to make it tonight. No, Jen, you made it. Okay, so let's talk through this. I haven't started anything tonight. We're going to go from start to finish. It goes a lot quicker than you think that it might. Don't be intimidated to try this with either your distress inks. You could try your oxides, whatever, and do like this fake watercolor thing is what I'm going to call it. Of course, you could use real watercolors if that is your jam. I'm not so great at that, but I'm going to use the Paradise Plumerias drawn by Kelley Taylor. And I'm going to use this really pretty little circle floral right here. And then we're going to use this on a really simple but beautiful kind of tropical looking card. Now, this is watercolor paper. You can see that I'm using the lumpy bumpy side. You can use either side. It's going to work the same. This textured side is just going to give you a little bit more of that watercolory look, like it's the textured paper. I'm going to stamp this in VersaFine. What is this? Onyx black ink, because when I heat set this, it is going to become water friendly. So we can get it wet and it's not going to smear like your Copic friendly or other inks would. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up. Now, because one, this is a new stamp, and two, because of the type of paper, we're going to have to stamp this. And excuse my reach here. I'm going to reach for my little pressure tool. We're going to have to stamp it a few times to get it to look the way we want it to look. So don't be alarmed when you start stamping and it is not down in all those little nooks and crannies. You can kind of see where it's really light right in there. So we're just going to go over it again. Just like so. I'm going to make sure that corner is down in my Misty again. Shut the door. And then I'm going to give those little Plumeria some more love there. And I'm really going to rub it down. Let that ink seep into the paper. We're looking better. Do you see how much crisper and darker and more saturated that ink is getting? That's looking good. Now there's some right here in those little lumps and bumps of the paper that I want to hit at least one more time. So ink it up again, close the door. Thank goodness for the Misty, right? Like, what did we ever do without our fancy stamping tools? Whether that's, the Misty or whatever your platform is, or, take your pick. It could be any of it. I don't know what we did without that. There was none of this for sure. Stamping it over and over again to get it really nice and crisp, because, man, when I use an acrylic block, I can never hit it just right. Okay, you see where we're looking now? That is looking great. So I'm going to put the lid back on that. Does anyone trust someone selling Poodle Mix out of the back of an SUV? I mean, hey, some of the best little dogs are like parking lot puppies. I mean, who knows? Okay, so I'm taking my heat tool and I'm going to dry this let's see here. Stamp and hold your breath with like, yes. If it wasn't, I would still be struggling. Me too, always rejoicing, because the acrylic block, I'm not so good at lining that up, and I'm probably not patient enough either. You guys know me. I'm like, want to stamp it and get it done. Dry the back. Let's go over it one more time just for good measure. I'm going to dry that really well. Okay, now you'll notice that I left all this space up here. That's because I like to swatch the markers. And I'm going to start with this kind of buttery yellow. I'm going to swatch it right up here and just drop a little bit. And you can see that it looks very kind of orange, mustardy colored. But this is why I always swatch, is because when you start pulling that color out, you'll be able to see what its true look is going to be. That for me is still a little orange. I think I'm going to grab one more. Let's test this one. Let me move that one. Clean my brush here. I've just got like a little cup of clean water. And let's pull this one out. And let's see if that's a little bit more of the yellow that I'm looking for. That's a little bit more yellow. Do you see how this one up here reads even a little bit more coral, and then this one is a more yellow? So that's what I'm going to go for with the flowers. Okay, so I'm going to start. You can start anywhere. I'm going to start right down in here in the little creases where they would all grow out together. You can kind of go up Kelley's drawn lines right there. And keep going, and pull that out just like so. And then I can take my brush, and then all I'm going to do for this color is simply drag it out. And if you're wondering why my paintbrush looks crazy and bent, I put it wet. Instead of putting it in the jar this way, I put it in that way, and it dried all bent. But you know, it will still work. So I'm just coloring in, not spending any time doing any kind of anything fancy. Let's get a little bit more of a dip here. And I'm just trying to stay in the lines pretty much here, but it's going to pull out really easily. And then here in a minute, when we get our little flowers, kind of the base coat added in, I'll show you how I like to do, like add in either shading or different colors or whatever. I'm just going to pull that out here. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so I've got it here, and you can tell here where I really flicked up those lines right there, or added in the marker right down those lines that Kelley drew. You can tell where it stays a little deeper and darker right there. Okay, so I've got that one done. So let's do the same thing. Easy peasy. We're just going to color here. Add these in. And these are, for those of you wondering, these are the Tombow ABT water-based, and they're double-ended. So you've got the brush end on this end, and then on the other end is like that little bullet tip. Okay, so let's get that one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one here. I'm going to make this one right here. Go ahead and make that a petal. I think it could be like a little green portion, or you can just, I'm going to just color it in as a little petal. Okay. And let's see here. So we're just going to start dragging it out. filling it all in. Just like that. Pull, pull, pull. Right down the sides. And so, while we're coloring, y'all are going to laugh at me. I went to a wedding this weekend. We used to live in very, very South Georgia. And I was asked to be like the wedding coordinator, which, I mean, I didn't think that's a leaf. We'll color that in later. I didn't know exactly. I thought, oh yeah, I can do that. I've got a big mouth. I can chat it up with anybody. I can be bossy when I need to. The teacher in me can come out or whatever. Boy, being a wedding coordinator with about 12, 20 somethings, that is not for the faint of heart. It was amazing, but it was hot in South Georgia. The wedding party was fun. The reception was awesome. Of course, all the food was delicious, and I had fun. Once I figured out like what order everybody was supposed to go in and, all those important things, because, in the South, people like to be very traditional about this, that, and the other thing. So I had to figure all that out, but it all worked out. It was a beautiful wedding, and I'm exhausted. But let me dry this. Okay, so it's nice to dry in between layers. So I've got the first layer of color all down, and before you want to add anything else on top of that, it's nice to dry it. So let's add, I think I'm going to add like this orangey color. Let's see if it comes out as a coral. It may be too pinky, but I went down there. I think that might be pretty. I went down there. That's my t-shirt. Yes, because I flipped some water up on it. Over the weekend and helped them like set up all, the venue and all that kind of thing. Okay, this is what I'm going to do for this color. I'm going to scribble here and I'm going to get it wet. But the decorating part and getting to like zhuzh all the little tables, like that's my jam. I enjoyed that. And I am dropping in. I want it to, for this kind of corally color, and I'm going to even wet it down even more and kind of dilute that. I want this part to be like the, what do you call it? Like the little kind of watercolory, little kind of messy droplets, so to speak. So I'm just going to leave those. But doing the tables, so beautiful. So fun. And the look of it was beautiful. It was out in an old, like, southern, like a horse farm with like these huge pecan groves. And it was really kind of cool because like the old like horse stables, they converted into a place to have like the rehearsal dinner and all that kind of stuff. So it was super cute. There was still like old saddles and things like that, like hanging on the walls and different tack and all that good stuff. So it was fun, but it was hot. I wore the cutest little shoes, but of course got blisters on my feet, but it was fun. And the daughter of a friend who got married, I have known her since she was probably, I'm going to say 6 or 7 when we moved there. And now she is she works in a hospital as oh my goodness, what do they do? The people that do like MRI and X-ray and all that kind of stuff. She does that, and her new husband is going to school to get his like physician's assistant type stuff, or like nurse practitioner, or one of those. So super cute little couple. Messy, messy, messy. Okay, let's see if when we dry it here, what it's going to look like. Let's see here. Technician, yes. And she started out as a technician like in a orthopedic surgeon's office, and then has moved on to the hospital, which I think she enjoys more the hospital setting, because she gets to see like a little bit of all kinds of things come in, instead of it being mostly just the orthopedic side. So now, she's getting to see like all kinds of things, working like with the docs in the emergency room, and stuff like that. So, okay, so I'm just adding more of those little watercolor bubble drops, especially this little guy. I want him right here to be a little bit more bubbled. Okay, now I'm going to dry again. Okay, you guys are talking about zig markers. Can you do the same technique with distress watercolor pencils? Yes, I believe you can. Zigs, you can do the same thing with zigs too, if you have those. There's different techniques you can do with that. Okay, so I've got the flower picture, or the petals and things I've got done. Now I'm going to grab one of my little towels, because I forgot to grab one, and I don't want to use my t-shirt to clean my messy desk. Okay, now, so this is all done. So we'll move on to the leaves, right? So let's do the leaves in a little bit more of a limey green, but I'm going to take it here before I put it on there, because, once you start pulling that out or put it onto your image, it's a done deal. Okay, I kind of like that. So I'm going to go in right here, and we're going to add some scribbles there, and we need to spread the color up in here. I'm going to add scribbles there. Let's add some scribbles down in here. Scribble, scribble up, scribble, scribble there. Okay. And I'm going to grab, I'll use the same brush. Okay. And here we go. So we're going to start working this limey green. I'll pull it out. There we go. And then right down to the tip. And then a lot of that more saturated is going to stay up in there. Let me wet it down again. And then we'll start working right down here. And it really goes pretty fast. This goes faster for me than Copic coloring, because you watched how fast I just kind of scribbled all the color on. And then you just pull it out. Pull. Go around that guy. I don't want to get any green on my petals. Let's flip my wonky paintbrush here. Puddle some of that pigment right there where it's a little bit lighter. Okay, let's start down in here. And then be really careful to go around. There we go. And then start pulling all that out. And just trace around. There we go. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. I like the limey green, but let's add a little bit of shading in there. And we need to do that in a little bit darker of a color. So let's test this one. That looks like it's almost dry. Let's see here. Nope. See, that is not the one. Like I'm not liking that. If I tilt it in the light, like it looks very, I don't know how to describe that one, but that's not, I'm not going for that one. So let's test another one. Let's go a little bit more of in the olive looking family, and let's test it. And let's put some up in here. Oh yeah. Okay. Now see, when I puddle that onto that limey green we used, I'm kind of liking that. I'm liking that. Okay. So again, I'm going to do a scribble. And let's see, I did a major refill session for, oh boy. I got to do that. I have been, putting it off. Let's see here. Let's use this one. I'm going to switch brushes. And I'm going to get it really good and wet. Make a big, nice green puddle. And then I can just kind of, more puddle than that, just kind of start dropping in the kind of watercolory, you know, messy puddles. And let's see what it looks like. Did I dry that? Let's do that. This is the part that I always forget. Let's dry. Hello. Hey, Kathy. Yeah. Let's see. The newer ones are supposed to be able to be refilled. A lot cheaper than a Coke. You know what? I haven't tried those yet. I've seen them, and I've seen like some card making friends of mine use them, you know, just like Copic markers, but I have not tested on myself. Okay, we're gonna drop. Let's just make some messy, like there's no rhyme or reason. We're just gonna make some messy little watercolory little bubble areas and make it look like we know what we're doing, when really we can just go right up to that little petal. Grab. Put some layers over the top of this guy. Kind of fade it out a little bit. I just keep picking up and mixing. Picking up. And then that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to give it a dry down. Let's see here. What is Helen saying? I'm from the... Hello, Helen. Welcome. Oh, I need to color in that portion. Let's see, one more spot that I thought was a petal, but actually it's leaf right there. I'm going to pretend like that yellow was never there. Okay. Now, one more time. Okay. Now, that portion done. What time is it? 8:25. Okay. So I'm kind of watching the time to see like how long this takes us to put everything together. So now I'm ready to die cut this. So we'll do this. Let's do a little flipperoo here and find which way we go. Now it is harder to get your dies to participate in the correct way when our paper is so warped and it's the lumpy bumpy on top of that. So I may have to do, we're going to force it. We're going to force the issue here. If I can get it to stay down. Okay, so I'm going to run this through my die machine. Stay down. There we go. Okay. Hello, Keiko. All right. All right, everything, my die stayed in place. Look at that. All right, now let's make an easy peasy card base for this to sit on. So I've just got a white card base. Okay, I'm going to stamp, let's stamp Aloha. I'm going to do this first before I get too far. And I'm just going to take out my Plumeria and we're going to stamp, we're going to stamp directly onto the card base. And I'm going to give this little Plumeria that's left on my Misty a little cleanup so we don't make a mess on our card base. There we go. And now let's get, where did we go here? There we go. Oh, boo-boo. I boo-booed it anyway. Let's see what's on my hands. And then this is going to go right about like down in here. And then we're going to have Aloha. So I'm going to make sure that we're pretty nice and straight here. I'm going to use the same ink. Take this up. And I'm just going to give it a quick tap, tap, tap. Perfect. Don't need to do any more. But I am going to heat set this before I mess with it. How can I make my sticky mats sticky again? I'll show you mine here in just a second. And you know, I have to tell you, I'm not a rule follower. So what I'm going to tell you is not recommended by Waffle Flour. But I just, on my little cloth right here, I use rubbing alcohol. This is like the crafter's best friend. And you saw like it's pretty sticky. Hold on, let me show you. And it takes up all that ink. And mine is still pretty sticky. And I use and abuse my mats. This one doesn't get as much damage, I should say, as like the ones that I use to ink blend on, this one is really messy, and they will stain. Don't be afraid. Black soot is going to stain every time. See, this one's not nearly as sticky, but I use both sides as well. So don't be afraid to use the other side. And see, this side is much more sticky. But I use rubbing alcohol. They've have started saying now not to use like baby soap or like Dawn dish soap or anything like that on them, because the soap will coat the mats. So I wouldn't recommend that, but lots of warm water, and I just use and abuse mine. This is peacock feathers that's on here. I'm going to make, and I don't want to dip in to the ink unless I absolutely have to, but I'm going to make just a little kind of tropical glow down here. Spread it up and around. Now let's see what we're looking like here. If we pop that up, we need more. Okay, so I know, I'm just going to kind of talk you through this. I know, and myself through this, that my Plumeria is going to go right down in here, right? So I want to stick my brush right here because I can hide it with the die cut, if that makes sense, with the stamped image. So you want to kind of just be aware of where you're laying the bristles of your brush down, because if you make a boo-boo or you see the brush marks or whatever, you're going to be able to cover it up with your pretty image instead of having like the big brush marks right there. Okay, that's looking a little better. Let's pick up a little more, and I'm going to lay it down again in the same spot. I'm just going to keep working my way around. Okay. You see where I kept laying my brush down right there? Because that's what it's going to make like a dark spot or a brush. You'll see your brush strokes or something like that. And we don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to clean up my mess right there. And then let's take a color like, I wonder what this one would look like. Let's do, maybe I could do this. Let's do peacock feathers since we already have that going a little bit. I'm going to squish it down. And then I'm going to use a fluffy brush. I'm going to use my dirty water. I'm going to pick it up, and then we're going to do some little flicks. Look how cute that is. Okay. So let me put that down, and let's clean up the mess. There we go. All right, let's heat set one more time. Okay, now we've got our pretty image here. Look how pretty that's going to be. The yellowy, orangey pink is going to pop right off of that peacock feathers. Let's use a few little pop dot things to pop this up. And then I'm just going to kind of pop it right down here where we're kind of hiding all those little things. And then look at that. Easy peasy, 30 minutes, guys. 30 minutes start to finish. And it's got like the little fake watercolory, like all that stuff. Like if I'm not gifting this to like a watercolor artist, I don't think anybody would know any different. I think it's kind of cute. What do y'all think? Perfect, Gretchen says. Looks beautiful. Thank you, Dawn. Hey, Keiko. Yeah, it's fun just to pretend. Put it on there. Have fun. And you notice that I just scribble those little markers on there, pull it all out, and then it like fills it in. Fills it in. And if you wanted to, you could pop some little gems right around or whatever, or you could do like the more clean and simple look. Okay. All right. Yeah, the background turned out cool. And you saw me. I couldn't figure out what I was going to do, but I'm glad that I just jumped in with the peacock feathers because those darker little splotches, I think are perfect. That end up perfect. Those splatters are the perfect touch. Yes, I loved your terminology. Susan, I am a hot mess. You should have seen me trying to do that wedding this weekend. Those people thought that I was nutty, and I am, but it's fine. For sure, always enjoy various colors of ribbon or twine. Yes, is it enjoyable with? It's enjoyable with various colors, any ribbon or twine. You could totally do that. Even like a little bit of twine coming out back there that makes it look like the little ropey look, like very tropical, beachy. That would be pretty. Glitter for sure. Don't need any baubles. Exactly. I think it looks really pretty like that. Let's see here. Okay. Now, you guys have to tell me. I am just fun. Miss Gail, we all need to get together and you'll see that I am a hot mess. I really am. I love you all and we would have a great time together, but I'm a mess. I'm 10 messes, as Lisa tells me all the time. Is Lisa here tonight? Do you guys know? I know she's not feeling well today, so I don't expect her to be in here, but I just want to make sure that I'm not missing her if she is here. Hot mess equals fun. I am fun. A little piece of torn net or Dawn, like your little cheesecloth stuff, like back in there. Ooh, I didn't see her. Okay, she doesn't feel well today, so I didn't expect her to be there. So you know what that means. I'm going to choose the winner. So here we go. I'm going to scroll through. Let's see who it is. The winner tonight is Miss Lindsay Thompson. Lindsay, are you still here, my friend? Oh, there you go. You said poor Lisa. Lindsay, you're our winner tonight. Congratulations. Miss Lindsay, if you will email me, and this is my email address, customercare@honeybeestamps.com. I'm going to send you a gift card just for coming and having fun with us and commenting. Yes, go girl. I'm adorable and happy. I am. 99% of the time I am. I for sure am. I don't know if my kids would agree with you, or me, but you know how that goes. Congratulations, Miss Lindsay. Email me and I'll take care of you. And everybody else, come back on Wednesday. I'll be crafting again on Wednesday. And so I hope to see you soon.